Well, welcome everybody to Reach and Read. My name is Katie and I work at the Sacramento Public Library where books are just the beginning. We're so happy to have you here and we're happy to have local yoga instructor Kat Sun with us today, and we will get to her in just a moment. But first I wanted to mention a few things. So first is just some housekeeping. So we're doing this in a webinar format, so all participant microphones and video have been disabled. So if you have a question or comment that you'd like to share, you can feel free to use the Q&A button that you'll find at the bottom of your screen. If you're having any audio related issues, please exit the program and re-enter. We find that doing that will typically solve that issue. If you need closed captioning at any point during the program, please click the live transcript button that you'll find at the bottom of your screen. You'll click that button, wait just a moment, and then you'll see the closed captioning pop up and you can follow along. And also, this program is being recorded and will be shared to the virtual yoga playlist on our YouTube channel. And in case you haven't checked it out before, you can find us under Sacramento Public Library. And make sure to stick around after today's yoga demonstration for a short book recommendation based on this week's theme. And I wanted to mention that we have quite a few health resources available right now at the Sacramento Public Library. So one of them is a virtual Building Confidence in the Kitchen series. So we've just had 2 sessions and we're going to do another one next Wednesday, the 26th at 5:30. And this is with cookbook author Leanne Brown. So she mixes mindfulness with cooking skills. So if you're interested in learning more about that, please feel free to join us for that. We also have virtual Zumba on Mondays at 5:30 and virtual Zumba Gold on Wednesdays at 4. And Zumba Gold is great for beginners and older adults. So if you want to just get started with Zumba, that's a great one to come to. And then, of course, you can check out a book about the benefits of exercise, mindfulness, and yoga from the library collection. And then since we are right in the middle of summer, we have our summer reading program going on. And I wanted to mention that our health literacy programs actually count towards summer reading activities. And if you build up points, you can actually get prizes for summer reading. So there's a little shortcut there for how to log your points. So make sure to check that out. And with that, I'll go ahead and say thank you and turn things over to Kat. So Kat, take it away, and everyone, please enjoy.
Great. Thank you so much, Katie. And hello, everybody. Excuse me. Hello, everyone. Thanks for being here and joining us. And as usual, I am offering this from home, so please excuse any extraneous noises and sounds. I've got my dad and dogs and neighbors and etc. And then, as always, we're going to want to have some yoga props if you happen to have some stuff at home. So you can see here. Sorry, my dad's making a lot of noise in the background. I have a blanket laid out on my mat because we're going to start on our backs with some sliding and gliding. And so the blanket just helps us to be able to slide and glide a little more easier versus the yoga mat can kind of stick. And then I've got a couple of yoga blocks and a strap. So, you know, for a strap, you can always use a belt or a scarf or something to help extend your reach. And we are in the midst of the series that is basically focused on caregivers, whether that's your caregiving or your parenting, but self-care for caregivers, but self-care just in general. So, and today's theme is on gentle stretching. So we will definitely be doing some gentle stretching like we always do. So we're going to start on our backs. Go ahead and get yourself situated on your back. And again, like you can see, I've got a blanket laid down. If you need something underneath your head for a pillow, you might have another cushion or another folded blanket underneath for your head. And we're gonna meet on our backs. So if it's comfortable for you to have your legs straight, you can just have them straight and arms can rest to the side. If it's better for you to start with your knees bent, your feet on the floor, you can do so and maybe walk your feet a little bit wider apart so your knees can knock in and support each other. Also, if it's nicer for you to have your hands on your body, you might want to start there today. And then whichever position is comfortable for you, just allowing yourself to arrive. So many of you have joined us before, so you know we generally like to start in a moment of just grounding and arriving, allowing ourselves to really land into this present moment together, coming into our body and tuning into our breath. So as you start to settle in here, Just notice the support, the solidity of the floor underneath you, and that connection to the earth. And just start to allow the muscles along the spine to relax and release into the floor. Notice the back body and where your body is making contact with that support of the floor. And then allowing your bones to begin to just be heavy as they sink with gravity towards the earth. Notice the big bones, the heavy bones as they sink. The back of the heels, back of the hips, sacrum, iliac. Maybe you feel your shoulder blades, back of the skull. And then as you start to really drop your weight into the support, feel the smaller bones of the body also beginning to ground towards the earth. Just tune into your physical body. Notice how you're feeling this morning. If there's any place in the body that's asking for your attention or your awareness this morning, just taking a scan. And as you continue to dive deeper inwards, begin to also notice the breath that's rising and falling. As you breathe in and out, feel that slight expansion and contraction, that pulsation of the breath. And as you bring your awareness onto your breath, you'll notice the breath that naturally begins to maybe become a little more rhythmic, a little more even. And then if your hands are to the sides, we're all going to go ahead and place our hands onto our low belly. And as you breathe in and out, just feel that rise and fall of the belly with the inhalation and the exhalation. So nice deep breaths all the way down into the bottom of the lungs, causing the diaphragm to press down and the belly to expand out. And as you exhale and all the air moves out of the lungs, the diaphragm is able to hug back up into the ribs, allowing the belly to hollow back towards the spine, down towards the earth. Good. So we're just going to stay with that nice, easy breath, nice, easy, rhythmic breathing as we add movement. So if you notice your breath becoming short or strained, then that's a sign to just back off a little bit. Okay, so let's go ahead and just open our mouth now, and we're going to just wiggle out our jaw a little bit. You can stretch out your tongue, stretch out your face, and wiggle out your jaw. Okay. And from here, let's go ahead and just open our arms out wide into a T with our palms up. And then spin your head over to the right while keeping your left shoulder, left arm, left hand heavy. So back of the hand is on the floor. Keep it grounded. Keep reaching your left hand to the left as you turn your head to the right. And then gently back to center, and we're just going to take it to the other side. So spinning your head now to the left while keeping the right shoulder, right hand, back of the arm heavy, reaching that right hand away from you as you spin your head to the left. So head and opposite hand kind of moving away from each other. And back to neutral we come. This time we're going to go ahead and bend our knees, feet on the floor. We're going to spin our head to the right again, and we're going to let both knees rock to the left. Bring it up through center and over to the other side. So moving with your breath, perhaps the inhalation to come to neutral and the exhalation to oscillate the head and knees in opposite directions. Or you can see what does it feel like to reverse that breath pattern. And you inhale into the movement and you exhale to find neutral. So just noticing, exploring in your own body what feels right for you this morning. But make sure you're breathing, keeping your breath nice and rhythmic, nice and easy. And you link the movement with the breath. The next time those knees come up, let's go ahead and hug our knees into our chest. We're just going to rock a little side to side. So breathing into that low back. So many of us have issues going on with the low back. So here, just really massaging that low back into the floor, rock a little, feel what's there this morning. Okay, and then we're gonna hold on to the knees. So I like to push my hands on the outside of each knee, keeping the knees hugging in towards each other. If your knees don't come in together and you've got something there that you can hug between the knees, you might like to do that. It's up to you. But keep the knees together as best you can, and like they're one big knee, we're gonna circle it in the air, nice and slow. So you're in control of how small or how big you choose to circle the knees together in the air, but do slow it down. When we slow things down, we allow ourselves to feel a little bit more. And when we feel, we allow ourselves to integrate. So just feeling what's there this morning. Bring your awareness now onto the low back and sacral area. Remember the sacrum's that triangle bone right above the butt crease at the base of the spine. A lot of times there can be some tenderness around this area. So just breathing and exploring. And whenever you're ready, just start to circle it in the opposite direction. Nice and easy. Making sure you're still breathing. And keep your tongue soft, your mouth soft, your eyes soft. And then next time the knees come back, as always, we're going to circle the knees now, but we're going to mirror them so that we bring movement into the hip sockets there. So start to push your knees away from your chest, open them wide apart. Keep them wide apart as you hug them back in towards the armpits and then back to the center. So like that, we're just circling the knees, but now they're mirroring each other and we're lubricating those hip sockets there. Yep. So again, you're just noticing how this movement feels in your body. Does it feel about equal on both sides, or is it different from one side to the other? And again, when you're ready, circle it in the opposite direction. Good, and then bring the whole thing back. We're gonna hug the knees back into the armpits. So here, split your knees wide apart as comfortable, and just hug them in towards you as you rock a little side to side. And again, open the mouth, wiggle out your jaw, stretch out your tongue. So you can just keep it like this if this is comfy. Otherwise, if it's available, soles of the feet can point up to the sky as you clasp maybe behind the knee or maybe the outer shins, outer ankles, or outer edges of the feet to come into happy baby. So the thing you want to avoid here is I often see people think they need to grab the outer edges of the feet and then their shoulders are kind of off the floor, the back of the neck is scrunched, the chin's jutting above the forehead. If that's you, then you're going to slide your hands down, lower onto the leg, closer towards you, so that the back of the neck can still be nice and long. Your forehead and chin are up at the same level. Both shoulders are grounded. So it doesn't matter where you're clasping. You want to make sure that you're not setting your nervous system into flight or fight response by doing this kind of a thing. Just nice and easy, rocking little side to side. Okay, and then we're going to release and bring the feet onto the floor. From here, let's go ahead, stretch both legs long, plant your hands on the floor right next to you, palms down. And then we're going to start by sliding the right hand down towards the bottom of the mat, towards the feet, and then slide it back to neutral and slide your left hand down towards the bottom of the mat and then back to neutral. This time as you slide your right hand down towards the bottom of the mat, can you flex those feet? Legs are active. Now press your left foot away from you. So opposite hand and foot are sliding towards the bottom of the mat. and then back to neutral. And now left hand slides down as the right foot presses down and back to neutral. This time right hand slides down, left foot presses down, and slide your left shoulder up towards the top of the mat. And then back to neutral, other side. Left hand slides down, right foot presses away, and the right shoulder is sliding up. And back to neutral. Okay, from here, you can just let your arms rest to the sides for now. We're gonna roll to the outer edge of the right foot, and then stay on the outer edge of the foot as you start to slide the right foot up towards the inner groin. So your right knee is gonna point out to the side. And then you just slide the foot away so the leg goes long. And then left side of the foot, outer edge of the left foot, outer edge of the left foot, slide it up. Outer left knee points out to the side. And then release and slide it long. Back to the right foot, outer edge of the right foot, slide it up. We're going to roll onto the sole of the foot. We're going to roll to the inner edge of the foot as we in-swing the knee. And then we're going to open that right knee back out to the side. And along the outer edge of the foot, slide the foot away. Outer edge of the left foot, slide it up. Roll onto the sole of the foot and the inner edge of the foot. The knee swings in. And then let the knee open back out to the side and slide the foot away. Okay, this time outer edge of the right foot, slide it up. Roll onto the sole of the foot. Roll to the inner edge of the foot. Now, you're going to press to the inner edge of the foot, the knees crossing the midline. You press into the inner edge of that foot to lift the right hip off the floor a little bit. So you're kind of rolling towards the outer left hip. The right hip comes off the floor a little bit, and it's kind of a little bit of a twist and a little bit of a back bend. But keep that right shoulder still heavy on the floor. So it's just the lower back is kind of lifting and twisting. And then you just unwind, come back onto your back. Again, roll to the inner edge of the foot, let the knee in swing. Press down through the inner edge, keep that shoulder heavy as you lift the hip and torque it to the left. And again, unwind. Just one more time like that on this side. And the next time you come onto your back, you're going to roll to the inner edge of the foot. And now along the inner edge of the foot, straighten the leg long and let the foot roll out. Other side, outer edge of the left foot, slide the foot up, roll onto the sole of the foot, come to the inner edge of the foot. Now press into the inner edge of the foot. That knee, again, is in swinging past the midline. Press against the inner edge of the foot to lift the left hip. Keep your left shoulder heavy. So just the left hip is lifting and rolling towards the right. And then you unwind, come back onto your back. Again, in swing the knee, inner edge of the left foot, press into it to lift the left hip, keep the left shoulder heavy, and unwind. And one more time, just like that, nice and easy. Make sure you're still breathing. Keep your face, your mouth, your tongue soft. Okay, the next time you come back onto your back, go ahead, roll to the inner edge of the left foot again and stay on the inner edge of the foot as you straighten your leg and let your foot roll out. We're adding on. So outer edge of the right foot, slide it up. Roll onto the sole of the foot. Roll to the inner edge of the foot. Now hold on. You're going to keep your right hand on the floor, palm down, but bring your right arm into cactus arm. So goalpost arm. Bend the elbow so the elbow is shoulder height and the palm is facing up towards the sky. So now as you roll to the inner edge of the right foot, again, you're going to press into the inner edge of the foot to lift the right hip. And as you do so, you're also going to slide your right hand down towards the bottom of the mat and reach your left arm up for the top of the mat. You can even look up towards that hand. So now we're lengthening through the left seam as we come into a little C shape on the right side. And then you just unwind, bring that left arm back into cactus arm, back onto your back. Again, roll to the inner edge of the foot, press down as you curl into a C towards the right, lengthen on the left. And again, unwind. Let's do that one more time. Let the knee in swing, press into that foot, lengthen through the left, breathe, and unwind. And this time, roll to the inner edge of the foot and let the leg go long and let the foot roll out. Bring your left hand down by the side, palm down. Right arm now comes into cactus arms, so bending that elbow to the outside there. So elbows shoulder height, palm facing up. We're going to roll to the roll to the outer edge of your left foot and slide the foot up. Roll onto the sole of the foot. Bring it to the inner edge of that foot. Now, as you press into the inner edge of the foot, you lift the left hip. You're going to slide your left hand down towards the bottom of the mat as you reach your right arm up. So reach long through the right seam, and then you just come back onto your back, bring that arm back into cactus. And then again, inner edge of the foot, lift that left hip and curl it to this left, reach long on the right. And one more time, back to neutral. And here we go. Good, and then bring it back to neutral. Now, once you're back on your back, just roll to the inner edge of that left foot, and along the inner edge of the foot, you straighten the leg, and then you let the foot roll out. And then both arms can rest to the sides. From here, let's go ahead, bend the knees again, feet on the floor. We're going to interlace our hands behind the head, clasping the hands behind your head so your hands are cupping the base of the skull there. So if you did have something underneath your head as a pillow, you're going to move that out of the way now. We're going to press the elbows down into the floor as we arch our low back off the floor. So you're pressing your sacrum down. You're making a little tunnel underneath you, like somebody could roll a marble underneath you. Press the elbows into the floor. Tilt your head to look back a little bit. Open your mouth. Stick out your tongue. And now as you exhale, you're going to press your low back into the floor. Curl your tailbone up. And then we're going to lift our head as we hug the elbows in towards each other. Again, inhaling, nice and slow as you can make it. Open those elbows, press them into the earth, arch the low back off the floor, look up, stick out your tongue. Exhaling, curling in on yourself. Let's just do that one more time, just like that. Exhale, curl it up. Good, and then inhale, bring it back down. Now we're gonna open the knees out, both knees open to the side, so soles of the feet come together. Inhaling here. As you exhale, go ahead and bring the knees back up to the face the sky as you hug your elbows together, curl up. Inhale, bring it back down, open the elbows, open the knees. Arch into that front body opening pose. Exhaling, rounding up, bringing the knees back up as you hug the elbows together. Let's do that one more time. Slow as you can make it, nice and slow, like you're moving through water. Nice and fluid. Exhale, curl it up. And then inhale, gently bring your head back down. Keep your knees where they are. Change the clasp of your fingers underneath your head just so the other thumb's on top. And then we're going to continue with that. So now press into your right foot like you want to stand on it. And as you do so, you'll feel your right knee kind of sliding a little bit towards the bottom of the mat a little bit. And then you're going to exhale as you lift your right elbow for your left hip. So we're now coming cross body. Inhale, bring those elbows back down. Press your elbows down, arch into it. Press into your left foot, send the left knee slightly away. And as you exhale, take that left elbow across the body towards the right hip. So again, couple more cycles, inhaling to broaden the front body, press into the right foot, send that knee away, and then taking that right elbow across to the left. Inhale, always coming back to this neutral position, and exhaling over to the other side. One more set each side, monkey cat's joining us. Oh my gosh, inhale, and exhale back to our first side. Inhale. And exhale, second side. Okay, we're gonna add on to that. So if it's not appropriate to add on, you can do a few more of these. Otherwise, inhale's the same. This time as you exhale, you can lift the left foot and bringing the left knee and out right elbow towards each other. Bring it back down through center and exhale, other side. And again, nice and easy. Move it. Keep the movement nice and fluid. slow it down, maybe another beat, like you're moving through water. One more set, last set. Stay with it if you can, but if you need, take rest. Make sure you're still breathing, so don't be holding the breath. Good. And then the next time you've completed both sides, bring it down. Okay, from here, we're gonna, last set, we're gonna lift both feet, bringing both elbows towards their respective knees. Inhale, we're still opening. Exhaling, curling in. Just one more, last one, I promise. Inhale, open it up. And exhale, curl. Good, and then inhale, bring the whole thing down. From here, we're gonna turn to the right side with the knees bent and bring the elbows towards each other like you're curling in on yourself. Okay, with your next inhale now, you're gonna roll back onto your back, open your elbows, open both knees. And then as you exhale, roll to the left. So now, again, both elbows hug in, both knees collect. Inhale, roll back onto your back, open the elbows, open both knees. Exhale, rolling back to the right. So just some rolling around. How often do we get to roll around on the floor, right? Okay, we do that a lot when we're young, and then we kind of forget we can do that. So just kind of rolling around, opening and closing, moving with your breath. And then making sure you get back to your second side. And the next time you come back to neutral after your second side, just go ahead and pause there. You can release your arms, release your legs, and just lay long for a moment. Take a nice breath in, nice breath out. All right. From here, we're going to bend both knees again, feet on the floor. If you were using a pillow underneath your head and you want to have it back, you can go ahead and slide something underneath your head again. We're going to lift the right foot and cross it past the left knee now. We're coming into that figure four position to target some outer hip. So with the right foot lifted, that right foot is gently flexed so that we engage the muscles around the knee joint. And then we're going to start by sliding the palms, heels of the palms, slide right into the hip crease. And you can gently press your heels of the palms into the thighs right there, like you're trying to push your thigh bones away from you. And then gently press your low back into the floor. And take a breath in and out. And from here, we're going to take the right hand. So it's the right foot that is lifted. So it's that same hand. The right hand is going to go into the hole between the legs. And you lift the left foot and you clasp behind the left thigh. Or you can, this is where you might want to use a strap. So if it's not an easy clasp, you can use a strap behind the thigh and then you hold either side of the strap. Okay? And then keeping that right foot still flexed as you use your hands or your strap to gently bring the left knee in towards you. You can rock a little side to side. Again, maybe wiggle out your jaw, stretch out your face, take a breath. And then that left foot now, we're going to circle that left foot in the air around its ankle. And then circle it the other way. So important for us to mobilize, strengthen, and stretch the ankles. So important for our sense of stability in the world. Okay, and then point and flex that foot a few times. All right, from here, flex the foot, and we're going to press up through the heel. So lengthen up through the back line now. And then point the toes and bend the knee, bring it back down. Again, flex the foot and then lengthen it up through the back. And then point the toes, bend the knee, bring it back down. Flex the foot, send it up, and this time if you're ready to keep the foot up, you can keep it lifted. If this is hamstrings a little grumpy, you might want to slide in and out a few more times, up and down a few more times. If you are keeping the foot lifted, go ahead and spread the sole of the foot, spread the toes, and both feet are gently flexed. Now press the back of the hamstring into your hands or the strap and vice versa. And then now you can look at that foot as you circle that ankle in the air, or circle the foot around the ankle in the air. And then circle it the other way. And then again, point and flex a few times. Might get some good cracks and pops. And next time you flex the foot, keep it flexed. Take a breath in, and if it's okay for your neck, exhale to lift your head straight up. And just breathe here for a beat if you can. If it's too much for your neck, bring your head back down or keep your head down. And then everybody, we're going to bring the head gently down. From here, we're going to bend that knee and we're going to set the foot back onto the floor. Open your arms out wide into the T. Walk your left foot now to the left side of the mat. And then you're going to let both knees rock to the right. So that right ankle is going to help the inner left knee towards the floor as you roll to the inner edge of the left foot, right? So here we're targeting a kind of quad and psoas, hip flexor stretch on that left side, and the right foot just helps give it a little more resistance. But if that's too much for your knee, you take the foot off of the knee and you just sit it on the floor next to it. Take a nice breath in here and a nice clearing breath out. And then we're going to roll the whole thing back up. Walk that left foot in and then just uncross the right foot. Keep your right foot grounded. Go ahead and make any adjustments you need so you feel aligned. And then keep your right foot grounded. Lift your left foot and cross your left ankle past the right knee as you flex the left foot. Slide the hands, heel of the palm, slide right into the hip crease, right where the thighs and the torso meet. Gently press the thigh bones away from you. And again, gently press your low back towards the floor. And take a round of breath here. Keep that left foot still flexed, breathing in and out. Now it's the left foot that's lifted, so it's the left hand, same hand as the foot that's lifted, goes into the hole. And you're going to lift the right foot as you clasp behind that right thigh or use your strap. And then keeping this left foot still flexed, we're gently hugging the right knee in towards us a little as we gently rock a little side to side. Okay, from here, let's go ahead and circle that right foot around its ankle and circle it the other way. And then point and flex it a few times. Next time you flex the foot, start to press the heel up towards the sky, lengthening the back line. And then you point the toes and you bend the knee, you bring it back down. So articulate that movement in your ankle and your foot before lengthening and bending. So pressing it up through the heel, then point the toes, bend the knee, bring it down. Last time, flex and send it up, point and bring it down. This time, as you flex and send it up, if you feel ready to keep it lifted, staying here. If you need to continue to bend and straighten, do what's appropriate for you. If you're keeping the foot lifted now, go ahead and start to press the back of the hamstring into the hands and vice versa. And then we're going to circle that foot in the sky around its ankle. And here you can see your foot, so you can notice where you have ease of movement and where things maybe don't move quite as smoothly. And then circle it the other way, noticing one direction maybe is easier than the other, or one foot moves more easily than the other. And then point and flex. Flex the foot. So here now, again, pressing the back of the hamstring into the hands and vice versa. Take a breath in. And again, if it's okay for your neck, exhale, lift your head straight up. And just pause here for a beat. Breathe in and out. And then we'll gently bring our head back down. And we'll bend that knee as we bring the foot down as well. Open the arms out wide into the T, palms up again. Walk your right foot to the right side of the mat. And as you exhale, go ahead and let both knees rock to the left. So we're rolling to the inner edge of the right foot. Inner right knee's coming towards the floor. Weight of the left ankle on the outside of that right knee helps the inner knee towards the floor. So now we're targeting the stretch on the top of the right thigh and hip flexor region. Breathing here. So again, if it's too much, take the foot off of the knee and just place it on the floor. Okay, and we'll bring the whole thing back up to neutral and uncross. All right, from here, let's go ahead, keep your left foot grounded, take your strap now, and we're gonna slide it onto the sole of that right foot. I like to slide the strap towards the bottom of the arch, top of the heel, and then you're gonna hold either side of the strap in either hand, and you can bend and straighten your leg up and down a few times if the hamstrings are still kind of grumpy. If you're able to keep the foot lifted and that feels good, then keep it lifted, stack the ankle right over the hip. Flex the foot now if the leg is straight. And then option to press your left heel away from you as you stretch the left leg long on the floor. If the leg is long, you're flexing the foot and you're thinking about rolling that inner left thigh towards the floor. You can even take your left hand, bring it to the top of the thigh, and then roll it towards the inner thigh to give yourself that manual cueing. If your left leg is lifted, if your left leg is straight, then lift your head and lift down the length of the leg to make sure the leg's in line with the hip. A lot of times the leg's out to the side. So if you see that happening in your body, slide it in and stack it right underneath the hip. Look at all 5 toes pointing up to the sky. Foot is flexed, spread the toes. And then lower your head back down. We're going to breathe here. So now you're holding both sides of the strap in the right hand. Left hand can stay grounded on the left hip and thigh. So keep your left hip and thigh grounded now as you inhale to open your right leg out to the right. Right elbow grounds as a kickstand to support you. Shoulder blades slide down the back. And then with that right leg out to the side, can you really think about lengthening through the inner seam? So think about pressing out through the inner heel and ball of the big toe as the outer edge of the right foot hugs back in towards the outer hip. We've done that this plenty together. It's one of my most favorite things to do, Okay, so just breathing here. And then we're inhale, bring it back up to neutral. We're going to switch hands. So left hand holds both sides of that strap that's around the right foot. Take your right thumb and hook it into that hip crease. Or you can take the heel of the palm and slide it into the hip crease and press it away. So either the palm, heel of the palm, or the thumb, gently pressing, like you want to slide the hip crease down towards the bottom of the mat. And as you do so, you already probably get a bit of a stretch. And then you slowly just take the right foot, cross the midline, stack it over the left hip to start. And keep that gentle lengthening through that right side here. And then very slowly, just inch by inch, nice and slow, you start to let your right foot move towards the left. And now we're targeting the outer seam here from this outer IT band area, outer hip. And then we'll bring the whole thing back to neutral. From here, take the strap back in your right hand. Now keep the sole of the foot pointing up to the sky. You're going to see if you can bend the knee towards the armpit while keeping the sole of the foot pointing to the sky. So you're coming into like a supine lunge. Now, this is not available for everybody, and I know that. So if this is a lot, then you can bend that left knee and plant your left foot back on the floor, and that will make it a little more accessible. Yeah. And you might just be kind of little small pulses in and out, right? You're just playing with that range. For some of us, maybe we can get it way in there, and then you can work on like bringing the knee towards the floor right underneath the armpit. Okay, and then we're gonna gently release and go ahead, let both legs be long for a moment. Just take a beat. Take a few breaths in and out. And we're moving into our second side. So bending one knee at a time, feet on the floor. When you're ready, keep your right foot grounded and slide the strap onto the sole of the left foot. Again, take it to the bottom of the arch, top of the heel. And for those who need, you can lift and bend a few times, straighten and bend it a few times. Otherwise, if you're ready, keep the foot stacked right over its own hip, flexing the foot. Let your arms hold the strap, just a nice comfortable length so both shoulders stay on the floor. Back of the neck stays nice and long, but the back of the neck is off the floor slightly, so you're not pressing the back of the neck into the floor. Okay, and then again, option to stretch your right leg long by pressing the right heel away as you flex the right foot as well. So if the legs are long, the feet are gently flexed. And if your right leg is long, go ahead and lift your head again. Make sure your right leg's in line with the hip and not way out to the side. So bring it in if that's happening. Get all five toes to point up to the sky. Use your hands on the thigh. Roll it from the top of the thigh to the inner thigh and gently bring your head back down. So we're gonna breathe here for a beat. So now both sides of the strap are in the left hand. Right hand keeps the right hip and thigh grounded. And as you inhale, open your left leg out to the left. Again, let your left elbow ground. Maybe you've got a piece of furniture or a block to the side for some support if you like. Or here I've got the wall. So if you're close to a wall, you can also use a wall if you'd like to have some support there. Just make sure that that right hip isn't, you're not coming way off the right hip. So keep the right side grounded. If you did fall all the way to the left, then bring it back up. Get grounded on that right side. Stay grounded on the right side as you open to the left. Keep the feet gently flexed, keep the legs active, and then think about lengthening through the inner line. So pressing out through the ball of the big toe and the inner heel of that left foot. And then outer edge of the left foot hugs back in towards the outer left hip. And then we'll bring it back up. Switch hands. Right hand holds both sides of the strap. Now it's the left thumb or the heel of the left palm that goes into the hip crease. And gently slide that hip crease towards the bottom of the mat. And then let your foot cross the midline. Stack it over the opposite hip to start. And then very slowly, nice and easy, you start to let the foot creep over to the right. And then you pause and you breathe. And then you move it another inch. And again, you pause and you breathe. And then we'll bring the whole thing back up. From here, we switch back into the left hand, holding both sides of the strap. And we're going to keep the sole of the foot pointing up to the ceiling as we start to bend that knee towards its armpit. So not way out to the side and not towards the chest, just kind of right like it's grazing the side of the body there, right at the chest there. And then again, right? So for some of us, that might be some little micro bends. We're just trying to access that. If it's a challenging thing, then you can bend the right knee and plant that right foot on the floor. It will help make this more accessible. And then let's all go ahead and release that. And again, just lay long for a moment. Take a beat. Take a nice breath in and a clearing breath out. All right, and from there, we're going to roll over to one side. And let's go ahead. We're going to come onto hands and knees. So we won't do a lot here, but if you like, you can move your blanket off of your mat if you prefer to be on the sticky. But if you have sensitive knees, you might want to keep your blanket folded into a smaller rectangle for underneath the knees. And then your hands, nice big palms on the floor. So as always, we take a moment to ground the ball of the index finger and the thumb. Get those two inner points of the palm down first. And then keep those 2 points grounded as you spread the palm to rest the rest of the palm down. For those who have wrist issues, and if this is not appropriate for your wrist, then you make fists and you put the knuckles down. We stack the wrists underneath the shoulders and the hips are stacked over our knees. We're cat-cowing. So as you inhale now, exhaling, reversing tailbone down, kidneys lift, chin towards the chest, crown of the head towards the floor. So maybe close your eyes and just oscillate in and out, undulating your spine with the ebb and flow of your breath. Good. And then we're going to go ahead and bring the big toes together. knees slightly apart. As we start to sink our hips towards the heels, let your arms reach forward and then let your forehead ground. So now for some of us, if we're quite a distance away from the hips, you might find it helpful if you've got a bolster or some cushions or some folded blankets you can put between the back of the calf and the back of the thigh there. You can slide it towards the heel so that the buttocks have something to kind of ground into. And if your chest and your forehead's far from the floor, you might, if you've got some blocks, you can have something underneath your sternum and then something maybe a slightly lower underneath your forehead. So you can really take a moment to ground into that. Arms reaching forward, but shoulder blades sliding down the back, away from the ears. And then just breathe into this. Now, if child's pose is not appropriate for you and puppy pose is okay, then you can take that instead, in which case you keep your hips over your knees and you just walk your arms forward. So you're coming like into downward dog arms. And then from here, we're all gonna go ahead. If you have a bunch of props around you, you're gonna move them out of the way. We're all gonna go ahead and come into half plank. So stack your shoulders over your wrists, but drop your hips so that your torso and your thighs are in one nice line. And then here, just take a moment. Lengthen your tailbone towards the floor. Hug your inner thighs up towards the sky. Hug your navel up towards the spine. Your sternum hugs up towards the shoulder blades. And then keep your elbows hugging in as you slowly lower to the count of 5. Okay, so don't go too fast. See if you can make it a nice, slow, gentle landing. To the count of 5, we're going to slowly lower. So 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All the way down. Forehead down on the floor. Toenails on the floor. Hands stacked by the heart. Elbows pointing up. Start to press your toenails into the floor. As you do so, you'll feel your legs engage. Your kneecaps might lift. You maintain that as you start to hug the outer ankles in a little bit. Roll your inner thighs up to the sky. Lengthen your tailbone long towards the heels. Press the front of your pubic bone down. And then shrug your shoulder blades down the back to lift the heart. Back of the neck stays long. A little bit of a back bend. Back of the neck is long, so gaze is down just slightly forward. Breathe here. One more beat. And then slowly lower your forehead all the way down. We're going to come back up into Cobra again. So when you're ready, activate the legs. Press the toenails down. Hug those outer ankles in. Inner thighs roll up. Tailbone long. Make sure you keep your low back long. Shrug your shoulder blades down the back to lift the heart. And now, as you breathe here, can you just lift a little bit higher? Maybe just an eighth of an inch higher. And breathe. Make sure you're breathing. And again, slowly bring it back down. We're coming back up into it one more time. So activate the legs, lengthen that tail. When you're ready, up we come. And again, notice the heart. Notice where you are in space. Now keep your heart where it is, but take your hands half an inch off the floor. Can you hover and keep the height? And breathe. And now can you lift just a little bit higher without the hands? And again, breathe. Notice how it feels to breathe here. Maybe it's a little more challenging as the front of the belly and diaphragm are pressing into the earth. One more breath. And then very slowly lower it all the way back down. Forehead down. Okay, from here, release your hands to the sides of the body. We're coming into Shalabhasana a few times, locust pose. So it's the same action on the legs, right? You're going to press your toenails into the floor. Kneecaps might lift off the floor. You're going to lengthen the tailbone long as you roll your inner thighs up. Press into the front pubic bone. Shrug your shoulder blades down the back and start to lift the heart. Back of the neck stays long. You can keep your hands and your feet on the floor if that's appropriate. Or maybe you've got it in you to lift the hands and let them hover and fly. Maybe you can lift the feet and hover and fly. Wherever you're at, lift just a little bit higher and make sure you're still breathing. And then very slowly, like a parachute, gently landing, nice and slow. Turn your head to one side. as you bring everything down to the earth. Take a nice breath in and a nice breath out. Good. All right, and then hands by the heart. Let's press on up. We're gonna come back up. We're gonna come to a seated posture now. We're just gonna do a couple of seated postures before taking rest. And then I'll turn things back over to Katie. So I like to sit up on the edge of a blanket. If you've got some tight hamstrings, then you might need to sit up a little bit higher. So maybe a couple of blankets or some firm cushions, or if you've got a bolster or a block you can sit up on. You just want to make sure when you're sitting that you can arch your low back in a little bit and you're not rounding back. So if you're here, then sit up a little bit higher, right? So that, and whatever you're sitting on, come towards the front edge of it so that your low back can come in. And then we're actually, I'm showing cross leg, but we're actually going to start with our legs straight. So hands by the sides, legs straight out in front of you, shoulder blades down the back. And if it's better for you to sit at a wall, feel free to do that as well. And then hopefully you've got your strap somewhere nearby. I should have said so before we started. So let's go ahead and take our straps and just slide it around the soles of the feet, and you hold either side of the strap. So before we go, hands by the sides here. So again, ground down through the sit bones, arch your low back in, shoulder blades down the back, navel gently in and up as the navel broadens into the back body, collarbones broad, and then inflate the back kidney band as well so we don't overarch. So soften the front ribs as you broaden into the mid back. And just breathe here. So now grounding down through the sit bones, lengthen the crown of the head up, nice and tall through the spine. Breathe here. So this is staff pose, Dandasana. And now keep the nice tall lifted spine. Don't compromise that. Go ahead and take your strap. Take as much strap length as you need. The feet are flexed, the legs are engaged. Sorry if I didn't say that earlier. So the feet are flexed, legs are engaged. Spread the soles of the feet and the toes. Stay nice and tall through the spine, shoulder blades down the back. Let's take a big shoulder circle. Shoulders slide down the back body. Stay tall through the spine, almost like you want to lift your heart a little bit. And then you keep that nice buoyancy at the heart. You're just going to hinge from the hip crease. So no rounding to come forward. Keep this slight, almost like there's a little bit of a back bend here. You keep that and you're just hinging from your hip crease, whatever is available. You're just little by little. And then you pause at your edge. Don't go beyond your edge. Fine. Keep the integrity of the pose and breathe. Keep your jaw soft, your eyes soft, your tongue soft. And then again, halfway lift up a little bit higher, lengthen out through the spine, nice and long through the spine. And then again, hinging from the hip crease to come forward. Feet are still active, legs are active. One more time, lift it up, nice long front spine, shoulder blades slide away from your ears. Keep that height, and then hinging from the hip. And then we'll inhale, bring it all the way up. You're going to move the strap out of the way. I'm just going to turn to face you, but you're still in Dandasana. Now hands to the sides. Oh, actually, we're going to bring our hands to the inside of the knees as we help our legs up, and we're going to open them out to the side. So just coming into a wider legs position. So here, take your legs to whatever width is comfortable for you, and then activate the feet again. So all 10 toes are pointing up. You're pressing the back of the heels down, and then think about pressing out through the ball of the big toe, inner heel, hands to the sides. Again, arch your low back in, shoulder blades down, nice and tall through the spine. You can just keep it right here. If this is plenty, you're just working with it here. Only if you're able to keep the integrity of the spine nice and lifted, you can start to bring your hands forward. And then maybe you can even, again, keeping this nice tall buoyancy in the heart, low back is arching in. Maybe you can start to walk your hands forward, but try not to just collapse forward. Yeah. So keep the integrity, keep the legs active and engaged. And then like wherever you end up, can you lift your hands? Like if you go too far and you can't be there without your hands, then back off a little bit. Good. And then we're going to walk it all the way up. And then last but not least, hands to the inside of your knees. Again, help your knees up, bring the soles of the feet in. So now coming into Baddha Konasana, cobbler's pose. So pressing the soles of the feet in towards each other as you open your knees out to the side. Again, arch your low back in, shoulder blades down, tall through the spine. And again, we're just hinging from the hip crease. So that might mean it's just like a half an inch, you know? So again, try not to compromise the integrity of your pose to reach some ideal of what you think it might look like. Instead, really listening to the body and what's appropriate for you this morning. Yeah? Okay. And again, lift it up halfway, shoulder blades down the back body, and then hinging forward a bit. Good. And now let's bring the whole thing up. We'll bring the hands to the outside of the knees and help our knees all the way up. And this morning, we're just going to end in a seated posture. So find a comfortable seat, whatever that means for you. So maybe that's on a chair or on some kind of a support, a lift, or some blankets, a block. Again, make sure you can ground the front of your sit bones down and arch your low back in. And let's do a big shoulder circle as we slide the shoulder blades down the back body, grounding down through the sit bones in order to lengthen up through the spine, reach the crown of the head up. And now let the sides of the throat slide back and up behind the ears. Telescope the back of the neck, back of the skull up for the sky. Let your hands rest on your thighs. Take a moment here. Gently close your eyes or at least soften your gaze. Let your tongue be soft. Maybe the tip of the tongue can touch the top of the palate. Mouth is relaxed. Soften the space between your eyebrows. And feel your breath as it moves in and out. Just ride the wave of the breath again. Keeping your eyes gently closed, we'll bring the palms together in front of the heart, thumbs gently touching the sternum. Take a beat here, connecting with the heart center. Taking a nice breath in through the nose. Clear it out through your mouth. And then bowing the head to the heart. Namaste. Okay, I'm going to turn it back over to Katie. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you, Kat, for another wonderful session. That was really great. So give me just a moment. I'm going to share my screen here. And we'll go to this week, which this week's theme, of course, is stretching. And I'll be honest, it was a little tricky to work with this theme for recommendations, but I thought, what about stretching your mind and learning new skills and learning new things? So I wanted to make sure that you all know that we have so many databases available in our collection that you have access to with your library card. Things like Gale courses and New York Times cooking and Craftsy and language apps and databases that you can get to. So make sure to check those out because you can learn a new language, you can learn job skills, you can learn a new craft or hobby, you can learn cooking skills. So make sure to check those out. There's some really cool stuff available to you with your library card. And then for the younger readers, I wanted to share this book called Vanilla Bean, A Story About Trying New Things by Katie Turner. And it's for ages 2 to 7. And it's about Bean who only likes vanilla ice cream. But then one day, sprinkles land on his ice cream and he finds out it really isn't that bad. So it's a great reminder to just open your mind up to new things and give them a try. So thank you so much for joining us for another session of Reach and Read. Thank you to Kat for another great session. Always so great to have you. We will be back next Thursday, July 27th at 10 a.m. So we hope to see you then. So to find a library location near you, sign up for a library card, or to learn about upcoming programs for all ages, just go to www.saclibrary.org. So for Kat, myself, and the Sacramento Public Library, thank you so much and be well. Bye.